Thanks for having us, Bradley. We're real excited to be here today. All right, so I am Nathan Smith. I am the Geospatial Services Manager here at the City of Round Rock. And joining me today are Steve Bird and Jillian Arthur, System Administrators on my team. Today, we're going to be talking about how the City of Round Rock is taking Cityworks to the next level. And again, we are very excited to talk about how we're doing that. I'm going to give a brief introduction about our city. So I'm going to just go over some details, the relationship of Cityworks and Round Rock, and then a quick overview of the content that we're going to be covering today. So the City of Round Rock is a mid-sized city. I've attached an infographic from Money Magazine here. We're about 20 miles north of Austin in Central Texas. We're in the top 10 fastest growing cities in Texas and the top 25 largest cities in Texas. We're also ranked the #2 best place to live in America in 2019, according to Money. So Cityworks with Round Rock. We implemented Cityworks AMS back in 2014, and we currently have 450 active users, and it's utilized by 3 departments. Our Utilities and Environmental Services Department, that includes water, wastewater, stormwater, our Parks and Rec Department, and Transportation. It's also worth noting that the City of Round Rock has been using Office and mobile exclusively since our initial implementation. I thought it would be important to cover our integrations with Cityworks as well. So Longview mentioned wanting to integrate with Munis ERP. We currently do that. So we integrate with Munis for our employees, their rates, their title, their email, things like that. So HR will enter that information into Munis, and all of that transfers over into Cityworks. We integrate with Trackit, which is a permitting and land management system. It's the equivalent of Cityworks PLL. We have a water service permit workflow that we integrate with that system. We also integrate with Faster. Faster is a fleet management system. So all of our vehicles and equipment and their cost get integrated with Cityworks through that system. We use Public Stuff as our 311. So all 3 departments that leverage Cityworks use the service requests that come from Public Stuff. And the last 2 we're really excited about. We recently integrated with IT Pipes. IT Pipes is a pipe inspection module, and it works with work orders and inspections. We currently leverage their CCTV, pipe, and manhole modules. And finally, we are in the process of integrating a solution by Radley Solutions for Cityworks Storeroom. This allows for storeroom automated workflows and for barcode scanning processes. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty. Today, we're going to be talking about how Round Rock is taking Cityworks to the next level with Respond in Style, Cityworks Analytics, Single Sign-On, eURL, and finally, the Cityworks Field Map. And with that, I'm going to turn the time over to Steve Bird.
Thanks, Nathan. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Respond in Style. So what is Respond? It's a Cityworks plugin that is really helps improve the user interface for Cityworks. In a lot of Cityworks presentations, you're going to see Respond used primarily a lot, especially for field users and the non-admin type employees. So why use Respond? Well, the big reason is we're using multiple devices these days. Everything from tablets, mobile phones, laptops, desktops. Respond adjusts its UI, its user interface for all of them. And it really looks smooth on any device that you choose to use. It also gives you the freedom to customize. Respond is easily customizable. Super mobile friendly. your fields and columns adjust to the device that you're using. However, to maximize response effectiveness, you'll need to be familiar with Cityworks style. So let's go into what style is. Style is another plugin for Cityworks. It's used to create, clone, and edit profiles, which Respond then uses as the user interface for Cityworks users. Can't stress this enough. Understanding profiles and how to permission them is extremely important to get the most out of Respond. And you're able to get in there and manage those profiles by going through Designer and then going into the general area and then right in there to where plugin profiles, the plugin profiles are. The user interface upgrade scenario will probably go something like this. I'm a very visual person, so I've attached some images that help me understand Respond. Cityworks Office is kind of like, it's very useful for admin, but it's kind of like this picture over here to the right. I mean, everything is crammed into Cityworks Office. So what you'll want to do is review your Cityworks Office UI. And then after that, you're going to make your changes in style. And style is kind of like a restoration chop shop, if you will, for the user interface. You'll see that I've got some boxes highlighted in red over there on the left. That's where you tell it what profile to look at and what fields you want visible, and the demo will get into that. Once you make your changes in style, then you get to enjoy the sleek new Respond user interface, which it looks so much better, in my opinion, than the Cityworks Office user interface. It also implements a map right there. You can turn the map on and off without having to open a new tab. It's very user friendly. So now I'm gonna walk you through a Respond and style demo real quickly. So from Cityworks Office, I'm going to select the Respond app. It opens up a dashboard that I have, and I'm going to open this work order right here. As I open up Respond, I'm going to first of all check the user menu and look at what profile I'm using. Right now I'm looking at the default profile. I'm going to modify it, so I'm going to change it to this simplified profile. And in this simplified profile, I'm going to want to remove these two fields right here, the open by and open date fields. Now, in order to do that, I am going to need to enter in this text right after the URL. And what it allows me to do is see what the control name is to turn on or turn off in style. So we're able to find that control name. I open up style and I make sure I'm looking at the right profile. I switch it to that simplified profile. I also need to make sure I'm looking at the right layout, which is this work order layout. Then I come over here and I find those control names that I just saw. And I'm going to basically make these fields invisible now. You'll notice that they turn from white to gray. When they're gray, they are not visible in Respond. Make sure you save your profile. If you don't save your profile, the changes won't show up when you go back into Respond. So I'm opening Respond again, heading back to that same work order. You'll be able to see that those fields are no longer there. It was super, super simple and easy to remove them out of Respond using style. And that's also a quick demo on how Respond and style work together hand in hand. Now for the next part, I'm going to hand it over to Jillian Arthur, who's going to talk to you all about Cityworks Insights.
All right, thank you, Steve. So Steve and Nathan and I have been working for a few months to roll out Cityworks Analytics, and we are excited to show you our progress. So Cityworks Analytics works along with Insights for ArcGIS. It's a reporting tool that leverages the spatial element of Cityworks, the work order, service requests, and inspections to gain insights into your organization's data. So Cityworks provides pre-built workbooks in the form of models, making it easy to create data-packed, visually elegant, and useful workbooks. So analytics workbooks can then be embedded into the Cityworks inbox, as you can see from this image on the right. Workbooks can be made up of many tabs and cards, which all translate seamlessly into Cityworks. Visualization types includes charts, tables, and maps. And then what makes the workbook so useful is the live connection to the data. So updates to your work in the field appear immediately in the tabs and cards in the workbook. The workbook is interactive also from within this Cityworks inbox. So you can pan and zoom around on the map, and you can click on elements of the chart and see cross filters applied to your other elements within that chart. And then this is an example service request workbook. The model provides the framework. The model from Cityworks provides the framework, and all we have to do is connect our data to this model. And again, you can see the options for visualizations here, the maps, the tables, and the charts of all kinds. So let's talk about requirements for rolling out Cityworks Analytics. So first, your organization must have a base ArcGIS enterprise deployment. You'll build a live connection to the database, which does require AGE. And then you must also have proper licensing for Esri Insights. And then finally, the models are generated by running a Python script. We obtained this Python script from our Cityworks Customer Success Manager, so it shouldn't be a problem to obtain that script from Cityworks representatives. So let me show you a little bit about that Python script. At first, when you receive it, it might be a little intimidating, but I just wanted to show this just to let you know, if you do go this route and launch Cityworks Analytics, don't be intimidated. We simply save this script to the location on your computer and then run it in the command prompt. The script only prompts you to enter, or asks you 2 questions. So you're basically entering the AGE portal URL and your user credentials. Once you enter those, it adds all of the pre-built Cityworks models to your Insights environment. So it's very simple. Cityworks has done all the work for us. And so next I'll be demonstrating Cityworks Analytics in action. I'll show you how to open a model, connect to a database, configure Cityworks Analytics workbook, filter and update visualizations, and then finally share a workbook within Cityworks inbox. And this demo assumes that you have already run the Python script and installed the models. So navigate to your ArcGIS portal site and open the Insights app. Click on the models underneath the analysis header. This opens the models that were added when you ran the Python script. Here we're going to open a blank work order model and show you how to set it up. Click on your database connection next and select the data set that corresponds to the model, in this case, the work order table. Once you select the work order table, you must enable the location to provide a spatial reference as shown here for any data to appear on the map. And you can see the work order template here on the right-hand side. This template is what's created by Cityworks from that Python script. And the next step is to map the template's fields to your dataset fields. And because this was built by Cityworks, the mapping is pre-configured. All you need to do is select the work order dataset and check the field mapping and click update, and the cards will automatically fill with the data, like magic. You can make your own adjustments to the workbook, which we'll look at now. So you can update the legend from unique points to a heat map, for example. And you can zoom in and pan around on the map element. And you can click on an item in a chart and notice that it's interactive. In analytics, this is called cross-filtering. So you can cross-filter the cards so that they react when you click on certain elements. You can very easily add new cards by dragging and dropping your fields over onto the workspace. In this case, I drag the status field over. And if I just want to apply a filter to that one card, I can do so quite easily. So in this case, I'm applying a filter of, I only want to see open work orders, so I turned off any closed or completed work order values. And the other thing you can do very quickly and easily with analytics is to change the chart type on the fly. So in this case, I'm changing it from a donut chart to a tree map. And then finally, it's also very easy to change the base map as shown here of your map elements. So next, let's take a look at sharing the workbook. We do want to have it easily accessed for our end users. And to do so, we will ensure that the workbook is shared within the Insights environment with everyone in this example. You can share it to a group as well, but in this case, to make sure the end users have proper permissions, I just shared it to everyone. You're going to copy the link from the workbook and then go within Cityworks and add an HTML widget. And so here I'm just adding the widget, updating the size, and then adding the URL to this field. So a trick here, once you add the URL, is to change the text from edit to view so that your end users only have view access and cannot edit the workbook. And then it appears in your Cityworks inbox and it's embedded, and it is that simple. So thanks for watching the Cityworks Analytics demo. And next, Nathan will wrap up our presentation and show everyone a few other Cityworks improvements we've been making over the spring.
Great, thanks, Jill. So like Jill said, let's talk about some of the last improvements that we've been doing for Cityworks. The first one that I want to cover today is single sign-on. Single sign-on is really cool. It works with your ArcGIS Enterprise or ArcGIS Online deployment. The cool thing about this is it allows your end users to use Active Directory credentials as opposed to built-in credentials in Cityworks. There are some pros to this, of course: improved security, decreased employee administration for your Cityworks administrator, and then one thing that I'm very excited about is web map integration. All the web maps that you've created in ArcGIS with that username are ported over to Cityworks, so you can load them or create them from within the Cityworks UI. This is what the sign-in screen looks like once you've configured single sign-on. You'll see a link above the standard credential input area. So I want to show you real quick what that experience looks like for Round Rock when we sign in. Our users simply need to click that link, and then it takes them to our ArcGIS Enterprise login page, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. All my information, such as my profile image and data, is transferred over. I don't even need to enter any credentials in. I also want to show you how easy it is to configure single sign-on with Cityworks. All you need to do is create an app, and we've done that using ArcGIS Online for the purposes of this demo. So create an app, give it a name, and the app is empty. Then you need to go over to settings and look at the app registration info. There's going to be an app secret, a URI for your Cityworks URL, and then an app ID. Then you go back over to Cityworks Designer, General, OAuth 2 clients, and add a client. Once you add the OAuth 2 client, you're simply going to populate all of those fields with the information from the app that you created in ArcGIS. And then single sign-on is ready to go. One thing we noticed that might be a useful tip is the name of the client that you create is what will be displayed for the end users. So you can see here that the name of our client is click here for single sign-on. If you named this Billy Bob, then that's what the end users would see when trying to access single sign-on. Another thing that we're very excited to talk about today is EURL. If you hadn't heard of EURL, I'm very excited to introduce it to you. EURL is a really powerful tool that displays all of your Cityworks data in a map. It's really easy to enable. You can either do this for all of your saved searches in Cityworks, or you can enable it one by one for individual searches. The power of this is once you create a saved search, it turns that saved search into a web map, a feature layer, shapefile, or CSV, whatever you prefer to consume that content as. And this is what it will look like. So we've got some saved searches over here, and if EURL is enabled, you'll see these new columns over here. I can consume this search as a map, a service, shapefile, etc. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to take an EURL and throw it into a map. So once you've created a saved search in Cityworks, you're simply going to identify that search and click on the service link. That's going to show a page of JSON, but you can ignore that. All you need to do is copy the URL in your browser, go over to ArcGIS, add layer from web, and paste the URL and add layer. And just like that, all of the content from Cityworks in this case, transportation work orders, are ported over into the map. One thing that's worth noting is the schema from Cityworks is transferred over into the map in your EURL. However, if you want that data to be populated, you're going to need to include those fields in the saved search. So let me show you one other way that you can take EURLs to the next level. So like we mentioned, EURL allows you to take your content and put it into an ArcGIS map, for example. Well, the power of that is once it's in a web map, you can create a dashboard. So what we've done here is taken that same EURL and created a dashboard from that web map. You can see here that I can click on points in the map, and I was able to use Arcade to customize the pop-up to only show relevant information. Another cool thing is you can create different pie charts, different infographics that allow you to filter all of the elements within your dashboard. So I'm filtering off of work order subtype right here. I can filter the entire dashboard based off of the status of our work orders, et cetera. And you can see total cost will update as well. Another cool thing is once you have your EURL ready to go, you can create multiple web maps with that EURL. So I've created a heat map here and complemented that with my graduated symbols map in the dashboard. And that's EURL in a nutshell. The last thing I want to cover today that we've done to improve Cityworks was a cartographic revamp of the field map. This is what our field map looked like at initial implementation back in 2014. You can see here, it doesn't really look that slick. To be honest, it looks very ArcMappy. So we've been working on some cartographic updates, and this is what our field map looks like currently. We're very pleased with the base map, choosing a pastel color palette, etc. And that's all I have for you today. So what's next with the City of Round Rock? Well, plugins. We are very excited for some of the plugins that Cityworks has to offer. We're in the process of implementing the pavement management plugin, which integrates with Paver. We're also in the process, as I mentioned earlier, of going live with Storeroom and a solution with Storeroom. Web map, workload, and performance budgeting are definitely in the next fiscal year, but we're excited to roll forward with those as well.